the bag worker out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You two Apartment 5B hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me in effect with me tonight. As always, ladies first. Porsche, what's good?
How's it going, Kill?
Everything is everything. Everything is good. DJ Rack One, what's good, brother?
What's going on, man? Same old. All
right. No doubt. I got the invisible man, my brother Nick over here. What's going on, Nick?
All audio, no video.
It's all good. You already know what it is with me. Let's jump right into it. Today, we're going to be talking about legend versus veterans. And the reason why we're talking about this is because a couple of weeks ago, I posted something like, right now I would take Alchemist and Derringer over Muggs. So all the mean muggers, y'all know I got a stand name for every stand base. So the mean muggers came out and was like, oh, Muggs is this, Muggs is that. Alchemist came under Muggs, whatever. And then somebody was like, yo, Muggs is a fucking legend. And I was like, is he? Is he really a legend? And that's no disrespect. So let me put that out as my thesis statement. Just because here are three words that I feel like people use all the time. Genius, classic, legend. Those three words, y'all throw that out Porsche, I don't even want to get into the Mac Homie, Rakim shit, but we already, it's like somebody saying, yo, who's doper, Donovan Mitchell or Kobe Bryant?
Right.
Yo, that's Donovan Mitchell is doing his thing. He a young boy, but you really asking the question, is he better than Kobe? So y'all just throw classic, genius, and legend out. There are people who are veterans. Veterans are very important to the game. Everybody can't be a legend. Everybody can't be a genius. Everybody can't have a classic. That's what makes those three words so important, because everybody can't be them. If everybody was a legend, what would be the point if everybody was a genius? So that's what we're talking about today, but it's no disrespect to anybody who is saying you're a veteran. We're going to go into what our definition of what a legend is and what makes someone a legend for us and everything like that. But Rec, real quick, you're in the military. Break down for me, just the structure from your private, up the ladder.
All right.
Break that.
So you got your privates. Those are kind of like your pawns. Those are guys that are just getting in the army or whatever the case. Those are your low level. You have your sergeants who are your mid level, your management. You have a structure to that, low, mid, and high level management. And then you have your officers who are your high level. So it's pretty much those three. That breaks down the hierarchy. Most people top out at colonel. Most people on the sergeant or enlisted side top out at sergeant first class, first sergeant, and then your privates are your privates. They just there. They like pawns.
All right. So the reason why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to, again, all these people are important. You know what I mean? Yes, you got the person who gives the orders. The same thing in a school. Yeah, it's the principal, but without the teachers, the principal, it's a team thing. So I'm just showing that just because you're not the principal doesn't mean you're not shit. And I understand that in 2019, if you're not a legend, then you ain't shit. If you ain't a class guy, no dissing whatsoever. There's no disrespect to anybody's name who is mentioned or who is listed as a veteran. Just wanted to put that out there. So, yo, Porsche, why don't you set us off? What does a legend have to do? What's your definition of somebody who's a legend?
Okay, so I pretty much broke it down into pioneer, veteran, and legend, because to me those are three different things, and sometimes an MC or people can be both. So for me, a legend is someone who's extremely famous and who has a particular, I want to say, level of experience in a particular specific field. So in an MC, it would be rapping. So extremely famous, and a person who's kind of like, been in the field.
All right. Now, what would be a veteran? I mean,
a veteran to me is someone who has a long experience. So quantitatively, long experience in said field. So a rapper. So yeah, I mean, I can give you examples if you want, but that's what a veteran is to me. That's why you can be a legend and be a veteran. And sometimes legends are veterans because they've been around for so long. So
now tell me this, because this is good. Because what's your definition of a pioneer? Because I used to always say legend and pioneer were the same. So I'm interested to know what would be your take on the difference between a pioneer.
So a pioneer for me is someone who's done. I actually wrote it down. I said someone who's been the first at doing something. So the very first at doing something, and whether that's creating something within the genre or being the first at doing a particular thing, but they have had to be the first one to do it. I don't call many pioneers, and I think for me in hip hop, pioneers are very easy to kind of recognize.
All right, no doubt. Rec One, what about you, good brother?
Porsche hit the nail on the head, man. A pioneer is someone who has started something that started a trend that everyone else has followed. That separates my pioneer and legend off the rip. If you didn't do something that started a trend or transcended or shifted the culture, I can't put you in that pioneer box. It's just not going to happen. A legend, like Porsche said, for me, it's longevity. The two can exist together, but they don't always have to. You can be a pioneer and not a legend, and a legend and not a pioneer.
Absolutely.
And both. It's just the way the culture is set up. So I totally agree with Porsche. I'm being long-winded at this point in time. I'm gonna shut up.
All right, no doubt. Nick, what about you?
I kind of agree now that she broke it down that way. I can't see like the pioneer, and with that being said, it's going to be very few pioneers, versus the legends. So okay. I kind of agree with the pioneers being separate from the legend. A pioneer can also be a legend, but not necessarily.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the hard part. This is why I love having smarter people around me, because now I'm confused as shit. I don't know what
can we go into examples?
Yeah, can we go into examples?
Well, let me say what I had. I just had, because like I said, I always looked at legend and pioneer kind of as the same. So for me, a legend had to be somebody who changed the game. Like you did something that was game changing. Like, people didn't do X before you arrived, and or you had to bring something to the game or invent something. So that was my definition of legend. And the reason why I love doing this, and I hate to even bring up these dumbass lists, but the reason why I like having a discussion before going into stuff is so that people now understand where everyone is coming from. You know what I mean? Because when you don't have the discussion before, then it's kind of just like you lost. That shit don't make no sense. But once you understand, like somebody posted a list and it was like Fab, Jadakiss, and somebody else was in the top 10. And I'm like, obviously, you don't give a fuck about albums. Like,
true.
About bars. This is just bars.
Straight.
You know what I mean? So I can kind of look at somebody's top 10 and kind of be like, okay, you don't care nothing about discographies. You may look at somebody else and be like, you don't care nothing about this. So that's why I want to do it. So Porsche, you set us off. All I got is legends and veterans. You give me a legend and a pioneer, or give me whatever you got. Okay,
so for me, like I had to go way back. But for me, like a veteran would be sort of anyone who's been around for more than, I don't know, X amount of years, like 20 years or so. So that's a lot of people for me. Their experience. So Jay-Z is a veteran, Nas is a veteran. Like, I don't know who else. Every Tribe is a veteran. Dilla is a veteran. Roots are a veteran. Like, these are all veteran people to me. Pioneers are like Run DMC. Flash, Dougie Fresh.
Don't take everybody shouting.
I know, right?
Sorry.
Slow down.
Okay, so for me, I'll pick Run DMC. I'll give you Run
All right.
DMC. So
right,
Run DMC. Okay, so Run DMC for me is a pioneer because they were the first to be to get airplay on MTV, straight up. So nobody before them had done that, and they were the first group to get nominated for an award.
Okay. No doubt. Right. Give me one of yours, man.
All right, so I'm gonna give you one from the DJ standpoint. So, pioneer, DJ Jazzy Jeff. I'm gonna tell you why. He invented a scratch. It's called the chirp scratch. So that alone, if somebody is doing a scratch that you invented, then you're a pioneer. That means you brought something to the game that is gonna be here until the world is done with. So
now tell me this.
Yeah.
Jeff for lesson 2.
Yes. Now here's where that comes into play. He's not so much a legend for what everybody would look at, the TV shows or whatever. I give him the legendary status because of the fact that he is able to take the things that he's brought to the table and transcend them, as far as him being able to rock parties, the things he does for the culture, and things of that nature. His longevity is what gives him that status, because it could be easy for him to have that 7-8 year run and just say, all right, I'm done. But he continued on, kept doing things, bringing stuff to the culture. So I can give him a legendary status and be okay with that.
All right, no doubt. Nick, who do you have for one of your legends or pioneers, or however you want to freak them, and why?
I'm gonna say Schoolie D will be a pioneer because people say he invented gangster rap, right?
Right.
So that would be a pioneer. I wouldn't call him a legend though, because I don't think he had longevity. You know what I'm saying? As far as the music goes,
Right.
Like, I'm not even sure how many albums he got. I know of 3.
Right. I think Schoolie has 3. I think he has Saturday Night. I know Smoke No Kill, Smoke Some Kill. But yeah, I think it's like 3 that were. It's the 3 that were important. Like KRS got like 30 albums, but it's like
a handful of important. Yeah. So Schoolie D, that would be a pioneer to me, not necessarily a legend. I guess he could be considered a veteran. I'm not sure if he's still like active, like touring and performing his music or whatnot, but he would definitely be a pioneer.
Yes.
All right. And I think I'm kind of stuck. I'm still trying to keep in mind, because Porsche, what you said was dope, so I'm still trying to understand what I was even picking from.
But even off of what Porsche said, so you don't consider Nas and Jay-Z legends? I heard you say they're veterans.
No, I do. I think legends and veterans can coexist. I think they can be both.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't clear on that. Yes, I do think they are legends.
Yeah, they can coexist.
Yes.
And see, I think for me, I'm just stuck. Just so keep in mind, everybody, I'm just still stuck in the legends and veterans, because I think legends and the pioneers kind of mesh together for me a little bit. So one of the legends I had, of course, was Run DMC, like Porsche. I wanted to try to talk about some of the things they did. Of course, like Porsche said, they were the first to have a gold album. They were the first to have a platinum album. They were the first to be nominated for a Grammy. They were the first to be on MTV. They were the first hip hop group to have sponsorship with Adidas. You know what I mean? So to me, those were like the accolades, because I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, oh, that's all it takes to be a legend. But you gotta understand, in 1984, and see, this is for all the young mofos out there.
They wasn't even thought of.
Yeah, mofos and bozos coming soon, by the way. The thing with all you young mofos out there is that you grew up in a place where there's hip hop everywhere 24 hours.
Exactly.
I grew up in a time when there was no hip hop.
Yep.
Like literally, there was none. Like there was nothing, and you had to watch Friday night videos and sit through 800 other white folk videos you didn't care about
to catch one video.
So you gotta understand, to be the first hip hop group. I mean, you gotta understand, there were radio stations that their like damn tagline was no hip hop. Like this was a band of music. Like people don't remember Jordans were banned from the NBA. Like Mike couldn't even wear them. So you gotta understand, we were coming up in a time when things that you guys have every day were banned. You know what I mean? So being the first of all those things were important as far as the accolades. Now, as far for me personally, to me, Run DMC is what made me fall in love with hip hop. You know what I mean? Seeing Jam Master Jay on American Bandstand made me say, at 10 years old, I want to be a DJ. Like I was like in that 10 years old in 1984, niggas was still playing with toys. Like I gave up a whole Christmas of toys to get these 2 turntables and a mixer to really, because that's what made me fall in love with them. I mean, Run DMC had me wearing Adidas with no shoestrings in them. You know what I mean? Had me wearing Lee jeans. I mean, Run DMC brought in the rope chains. I mean, those dudes just pioneered so much. You know what I mean? And that's to me how they changed the game. I hated the song Walk This Way, but I mean, you can't deny what it did for the game. I'm actually reading a book now on Rick Rubin, and he's kind of about how it came together. And that's incredible. So for me, I'm have to go with Run DMC, Certified Legends, and I guess like Porsche said, pioneers too. Porsche, who's somebody else that you got, miss?
I got MC Light. MC Light is the first female. Yes, I'm using the word female. I know this is now not allowed, apparently. But yes, she's the first female MC to release a solo album. So for me, she's a pioneer in that. And she kind of made way for everybody else to do it. So yeah, MC Light.
All right, now tell me this. So she's a pioneer. Is she a legend?
She's a pioneer, and I think she's a legend. In my opinion, she is, because she's well known. She's been in the game for so long. Again, Nick kind of brought up an interesting point that I didn't think of when he was talking about Schoolie D. He said he's not, I don't know if he's still active. I think that plays a role in it as well, to be sort of considered that. Maybe a veteran, I don't know. But Light isn't really so active anymore. I think she's a legend. In my opinion, she is. But some people may not have ever heard of her because she's not active anymore. Like the younger ones, you know, like the younger people.
And I agree. I think Light is a certified legend, for the simple standpoint that she was one of the first female MCs who I felt could go toe-to-toe with any male MC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, because I mean, she has a historic diss song with 10% diss, basically dead Antoinette's career. And just, you know, for I felt like as a female MC, she brought lyrics to the table at a time when, and this is no disrespect, I love Salt and Pepper. I love Hot, Cool, and Vicious. It's a 5 mic classic album to me, but I never looked at them as like no lyrical juggernauts. You know what I mean? I never brought Salt and Pepper to like be like, yo, what did Pep say? Like, let me hit rewind and bring that back. Like, they were dope, but it was a different type of dope than what Light was. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with you on that. Rec, who's another legend that you got, good brother?
A legend or pioneer? You want legend?
I mean, you could give me both. You could give legend, pioneer.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a pioneer, Grandmaster Caz. So Grandmaster Caz, for those that don't know, this cat, man, was the one behind what's the joint, man? The song with 3 cats, man.
The Sugar Hill game.
Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
So he wrote a lot of the early stuff that people just didn't know. His writing style was totally different than what other people were doing, and the way that he was coming across in his rhymes. Now, I can't consider him a legend only because he didn't have longevity in his own career due to just the pitfalls of how the game was back then. But as a pioneer, from a rapping standpoint, I would feel wrong if I didn't add him. You have to, because without him, I don't think we would have the thought process of a Rakim coming a few years later. So Caz is a pioneer to me, not a legend, but a pioneer. A legend. I'm gonna go Redman. If I'm staying with rapping, I'm gonna go Redman. Reason being is because of his longevity and he's consistent. Now, some of the albums are not, you know, what we know them to be as far as his early work, but his longevity and his ability to stay relevant, I mean, that's a blueprint for some of these guys. I look at people like Wiz Khalifa. They follow that same path that Redman is able to do. He can still do shows. Shoot, what, 30 years in the game and sell out shows? 30 years now. 30 years. Hip hop is what, 44, 45? So okay, so 46 years old. Yeah. 30 years of that, Redman's been active in the game. consistently. I got to give him that.
All right, so let me do this because I want to push back a little. And I think I now that we're talking, I get it. I think the thing that for me, the legend for me doesn't have to be about longevity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, if Dilla invented chopping drums and he never produced nothing again for the rest of his life, he would be a legend.
Yeah, legend. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. When you say Redman, let me push back on that because Red probably ain't had a dope album out in the past 19 years. You know what I mean?
You're right.
He can perform, but I mean, shit, so can Kwame. You know what I mean? And again, that's no diss to Kwame.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering for you, when you talk about longevity, does it mean like you're still, because keep in mind, Red dropped in 92. I'm a freshman at Morgan, and he probably made his last dope album, Muddy Waters, in 96?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if we give him the Rock Wild or the joint Blackout with Meth, just he had a good 6 years. That's over 20 years ago. So I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I mean, it's whatever you pick, but I'm just wondering, how are you defining longevity? Is it that you can still perform? Because I don't know if anybody cares right now. If Redman drops an album tonight at midnight, I think people are going to be listening to Rick Ross before they listen to Redman's.
I totally agree because I'm listening to that Ross tonight.
Exactly. So you don't consider Redman a legend, Q?
I know, no. I consider Redman a legend, but remember,
he
doesn't have nothing to do with longevity.
Yeah,
you know, so that's the only, I consider him a legend. But legend, my definition has nothing to do with how long you've been in the game or anything like that.
Longevity plays a part in it. It's not the tell all be all. I try to look at it from a every all around standpoint. You know, your albums might not be there, but your shows is tight. Your shows might not be tight, but your albums are there. So I try to look at it from a standpoint of everything, as opposed to just being one sided with it.
All right.
You know, you're absolutely right. The last album, I liked the one that he had, The Goodness, the joint with Busta that took Doc's name. Yeah. I like that album. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, album wise, no. Muddy Waters is probably the last.
And I was just asking because I think for so many of these artists, I don't know too many people who have been in the game 20 years who can still make an album that people are hype about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody will say, "Oh, I'll listen to it," but I'm like, no. Are you hyped? Like, are you hyped for it? So that's why I was
that's a good point though. I think at a certain time you do lose a step. So you're absolutely right.
All right, no doubt. Nick, what about you? Who's another legend or pioneer for you? What you got?
I would say Wu-Tang Clan as a collective are kind of pioneers due to the way they came in and how they structured the solo careers of the MCs and the group or the collective. So I would so they're pioneers, they're legends as a group, but like individual, all of them aren't legends, I don't think. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now here's a good question. So who from the clan is a legend?
Solo wise?
Not a legend.
So solo wise, I would say Meth, Ghost and Ray, and RZA. I would have to say RZA are legends because I think them solo wise, people still check for their music. Not saying that the music is always dope, but they still have a solid following who anticipate their releases, whereas the other members don't. They kind of rely on the Wu-Tang collective to garner that interest in their performances.
Now tell me this: are you talking RZA on the mic or RZA production wise?
Well, see, that's kind of tough because he really doesn't produce rap albums anymore. He's more into like scoring films. So I would lean more so producing for RZA. I think I'm one of the few people that think RZA is a dope MC. I know a lot of people that don't like
I think RZA is legit. I mean, I don't think he's incredibly. I think he's dope. Like, I never thought there was no, I'll take RZA over you guys. Like, I never thought, like, with me, I know people were like, RZA's whack. And I'm like, nah, I don't think he's whack at all.
See, I know, a good amount of people that say that. So how do y'all feel about Wu-Tang? I would like to hear y'all thoughts on Wu-Tang.
Porsche, what you got on Wu?
Yeah, I mean, Wu was on my pioneers list as well. And I agree I pretty much agree with everything Nick said. As a collective, the way that they kind of came together, the way their numbers, being a group, collective, they did pioneer that. They totally pioneered that. And then breaking out into solo releases the way they did, I definitely consider them to be pioneers. And as a collective, they're legendary as well, even though for me, I think my definition of legend is different, a little bit different than your guys' definition of legend, because for me, I feel like a legend is also iconic in a way and will be for years and years to come. And I feel like with Wu specifically, every demographic knows Wu-Tang. Whether you're young, old, super old school, like whatever demographic you are, Wu-Tang, you know about Wu. You know the solo joints, you know the debut album, you know the double album. They're just, to me, they're legendary as a group. And Nick named the solo artists that would be legends for me too.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Rap?
Nah, I agree. Nick hit it on the head, man. You know, Wu-Tang is a pioneering force. When you can have on a Wu-Tang t-shirt, that emblem, and you know, somebody who you know is not of the culture looks at you and says, hey, I fuck with them. I know exactly what you got. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's transcending. And for them to be able to do that speaks volumes. But, you know, like Nick said, those are the only guys that, you know, maybe with the exception, well, no, I can't even say that. But those guys he named are the ones that I check for.
Yeah. And I mean, same for me. Wu-Tang is definitely legendary. Everything you guys said. I mean, I think the thing that really puts it home is just, I mean, they just did a documentary on them, like, a couple of months ago? And it's like, everybody cared about it. Now they're doing a series on them. You know what I mean? So the whole thing to be able to say, and I mean, I think that for me is like one of the parts with me with the legendary part is that the fact that none of them need to drop any more music. You know what I mean? Like, literally, if like they never released, if literally the last thing we got was, I don't know, Fish Scales, and that was the last Wu release, I think people would still want to see the documentary. People would still want to see the series. People still would be rocking, you know, the W t-shirts and everything like that. Just, and another thing with me, with my legendary thing, and I forgot to write it down, is impact. The impact that you had on the game. So it's not just about what you invented or what you brought to the game, but the impact. And the impact that Wu-Tang had on the entire game 20 years ago to right now is still, you know, amazing. You know what I mean? Even if it's one of those things like what not to do. You know what I mean? Because you don't have any more rap groups because, you know, for the most part, or R&B groups, because for the most part, we already know who's the star, who's the lead singer, who's going solo. So why even go through the rigmarole of even going through forming the group? No, you gonna leave. If you gonna leave, you're gonna get the big deal. So I think even in that situation, watching, you know, the documentary, it's like, okay, what not to do. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that. The next person I got on my list is Marley Marl. You know what I mean? To me, he's legendary. You know, just because he was the first person to play programmed drums from drum samples. And what I mean by that is that, you know, if you had a Korg or, you know, any of the TR-808, you could always program drums. Tila Rock, it's yours to program drums. Rick Rubin, I Need a Beat, LL. But Marley was the first to take the snare from Impeach the President, the kick from Synthetic Substitution, maybe the hi-hat from, you know, a James Brown thing, and actually play those out himself. So to me, that's what he brought to the game that wasn't being done before, was being able to have the mindset. Like I always tell people as a producer, it's easy for me to now just be like, oh, let me take the kick from here and the snare from there. That's some genius level shit to be able to do that in 85, 86. You know what I mean? Like, and I almost compared it to like, when I first started making beats, I would go to my man Shy, and y'all know Beezel. I would go to their crib, and they would be pushing buttons on the SP12 and the ASR10. I would be amazed. Like, these motherfuckers was flying a plane for all I knew. You know what I mean? Yep. Then once you learn how to do it, the shit don't look that amazing no more. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like it's easy to do it now, but for Marley to be one of the first people to, make a drum machine, do things that it wasn't supposed to do, like that right there to me is legendary. And then when we just talk about, his production, his span was from 84 to 90. Maybe 90, really 91-ish, when Mama Said Knock You Out, and people don't understand, from 84 to 91, hip hop went through so many phases and most of these people we're talking about got phased out sometime in their career. You know what I mean? Whereas Marley was going strong from 84 with Roxanne's Revenge all the way up to Mama Said Knock You Out. Folk don't understand that LL was dead in the water before Mama Said Knock You Out. After that, what was it?
Walking with the Panther.
Walking with the Panther.
He was dead. Nobody even cared about L. And then you heard Booming System, Around the Way Girl. So the fact that he was there, and then you talk about him producing for Kane, G-Rap, Biz, Master. You're talking about him producing some of the greatest lyricists ever. He has one of the dopest posse cuts ever with the Symphony. To me, Marley definitely a legend. My eyes. Porsche, who you got next?
I'll do a legend and a veteran and not a pioneer, and that's Jay. I think Jay is obviously, he's iconic. He's done tremendous in terms of just the impact that he's had. So that gives him his legendary status, and of course his longevity gives him the veteran status. But I don't think Jay really did anything first or pioneered anything in the genre, unless I don't know if you guys think he did, but to me he didn't. He's not a pioneer in any regard, but he's definitely legendary, and he's definitely a veteran in the genre.
That's a good question. What you think, Nick?
What, as far as Jay pioneering?
Yeah, did he bring anything to the game?
Nah, that's the thing. Once you get, because see, he came 96 when he debut album wise.
Yeah,
right.
By the time you got the 96, what new could you do? You know what I'm saying? You just kind of enhanced what came before you, but you didn't really create anything new. I don't think too many people brought something new to the game.
To me, like Big isn't a pioneer either.
Yeah, he's not.
Just to kind of put that out there as well. Yeah, he's definitely not a pioneer of anything.
Definitely
he's a legend. And Big is not a veteran either, because obviously his doesn't have the longevity.
Yeah. Agreed. I would say you can give him pioneer from just his business savvy and what he's been able to turn around and do.
Yeah, but Puff did that. But Puff did that before he did.
From a standpoint of his stuff that has nothing to do with music. I'm talking the whole Rock Nation thing and everything else.
But Puff did that. Puff had a label. Puff had
no. Rock Nation is not a label. Rock Nation is a management company that takes on everything from sports to music to movies to anything dealing with the culture. So I think that was a very smart play, because at some point, music is not going to always be your bread and butter.
Fair.
And he was smart enough to see that and know that he had the power to do those things. Because I don't know if Puff could have done that. I don't know if Puff is humble enough to do those things, to put other people first, to do certain things like that. I think that's why he didn't do it. I think that's why Puff was stuck in the music for so long. But it's a touchy slope even still to give him that. I'm just kind of putting it out there a little bit.
Sorry, I thought you said Rockefeller, not Rock Nation.
No.
I know that Rock Nation is not.
Yeah,
just want to be clear.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm totally with you as far as the Rockefeller. I do not think that was.
But again, for me, Rock Nation isn't enough to put Jay-Z as a pioneer in status to me personally.
As far as rap though, because who else has done it in rap?
Right, and that's the only reason I brought it up, because from a standpoint of what he started and where he was able to take that and still be able to navigate, it's pioneering. It's not that it makes him a pioneer.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make him a pioneer as an artist. I'm not giving him that status. He's not a pioneer as an artist.
Doesn't I hesitate to say that he even is a pioneer on the business side, just because Puff did so much groundwork for that. To me, and I'm the last person that's going to give Puff any type of credit. Like,
I know that.
So for me, I just look at it and I'm like, well, Puff kind of did the label thing. Jay-Z did it too. Puff did the apparel thing. Jay-Z did it too. Puff just didn't go into the management side. Jay-Z did, but Puff sort of kind of laid that formula to become an entrepreneur of that level. To me,
Yeah. I see. I can't give it to Puff. If I got to give it to anybody, it's gonna be the Rap-A-Lots, the Tony Drapers, those guys. Those guys were doing it before.
How about we give it to Russell? How about we give it to Russell?
Yeah. And that's I'm with you.
Before Russell.
Yes. Russell and Rick Rubin for sure. But from a total standpoint of total independence,
that's Tony.
I gotta go with Tony Draper and Rap-A-Lot, Jay Prince. Those guys were totally independent.
You gotta remember they're not in New York.
We talking Houston.
So we still giving Jay-Z pioneer status for that?
No. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I'm not giving it to him.
Okay.
I'm just posing the question.
And here's the good discussion, and that's why I love it, because I'm confused as fuck now. I don't know who's what anymore, because now I'm really sitting here thinking about Jay. I gotta remember, because now I'm sitting here thinking, like I said, a legend to me is somebody brought something to the game, changed the game, or something like that. And I think for me, I would say Big was a legend, but keep in mind for my definition.
Yeah, Big is a legend for sure.
For me, because, and I know it was Puff's plan, but it was being able for him to be able to pull it off flawlessly. Like, and to give you a hoops analogy, Mike D'Antoni, 7 seconds or less offense, great offense, but you had to have a Steve Nash to be able to pull that off. That shit didn't work when he went to the Knicks. So people will always say, oh, well, that was Puffy's blueprint. But yeah, everybody couldn't pull that shit off. And Big did that perfectly. Like, I don't know anybody who ever got mad at Big, like, oh, this bullshit, juicy. You know what I mean? It was still dope. Or Big Papa was still dope. And all those things. And it was still connected with the unbelievable and who shot shit and all those things. So for me, in my definition, Big was legendary because I felt like that blueprint was something that everybody took from Big on is still trying to capitalize on that blueprint of being able to do that. So we have the blueprint, and I think Benny said it, take Belichick playbook still don't make you the Patriots. Like, that's the thing. Like, you could have the playbook, but if you can't run the plays, and I think for me, that's Big legendary for me, was that he was able to do that. It took Jay so many fuck ups to be able to do that. Like that whole second album is just basically a fuck up of him trying to do what Big did. And I think Jay even said he didn't get the formula right until that shit I hated with him and Jermaine Dupri, Money Ain't a Thing.
Right.
Like, he didn't even get it until then. So all that Babyface and Foxy and the City Is Mine with Blackstreet, this is just him trying to learn to crack the code or whatever like that. So I think that's why Big would be legendary. But, Porsche, you bring up a great point. Is Jay legendary?
Big is legend. Well, Jay is legendary. Big is legendary for me. He's just not a pioneer. Big is just not a pioneer to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because I feel like Jay was basically, and this is no disrespect, and I know that the Jehovah Witnesses are going to come for me.
You about to start
the Jehovah Witnesses.
I already know what you about to say.
But he was kind of like a broke Biggie. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect what I mean by broke Biggie. But it was a situation, and I always tell people this: there's only one spot. And Jay said this in the XXL article, I think, and it made perfect sense. He was like, look, and this is what let me know Rockefeller was coming to an end. He's like, it's only one presidential suite. It's only one. And me, Dame, and Biggs ain't all staying in one goddamn room. Okay, so it's only one. And there's always only one spot. When Stephon Marbury and Allen Iverson came out in 96, similar basketball players, both point guards, both from the hood, both had tattoos, both had the hip-hop element, but niggas always loved Allen more. And Steph spent his whole career, I want what Allen got. I want what kind of contract Allen got. I want what Allen got. I want trying to chase behind that. There's only one spot. And when Big and Jay were alive, it was obvious who everybody fucked with. They fucked with Big. You know what I mean? I know the Jehovah's Witnesses will say, "Oh, that's because Puff had Bad Boy," and all the. It don't look. At the end of the day, before Big died, Jay was going gold. That was it. That was his ceiling. Was gold.
Ceiling. Yep.
He died. Then the nigga went multi-platinum. That is not a coincidence, boys and girls. Jehovah's Witnesses, don't knock on my timeline Saturday morning. That is not a coincidence. That is
it's only fact. It's only fact because Biggie died. Because I think if Jay-Z drops Volume 2, Biggie alive or not, that album was gonna pop.
I mean, maybe. I mean, here's the thing that I look at.
But see, we would never know because Biggie died.
If Big was still alive, I felt like everything was always going to be compared to Big. And it was obvious that Big got the love. Even, I mean, to me, I never even met Big, never met Jay. This is just off of personalities. I feel like Big would be one of the coolest niggas to hang around.
Because he's funny.
And
that's the stories we've all heard.
Yeah.
And
he was
everybody loved Big. Jay to me is an asshole. Jay to me is cool to hang around if you want to try to get on some business stuff, and he probably gonna throw you some crumbs here and there. So I just don't. I think the world accepted Big. Women love Big. I mean, fat, ugly, black, cross-eyed, whatever. Women love Big. Like he just got that love. I always say, if Jay dies tomorrow, I don't think Jay gets half of what Big got for that funeral. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. So my opinion is if Big is still making music like that, I don't know if Jay even, because for me, I'm always left like, what made the third album pop like that? Like, what made it? Because it wasn't Hard Knock Life. Like, that was cool, but it's slow. No, it wasn't in the club.
But see,
that album popped.
I was I worked at the record store when that album dropped, and trust me, it was white businessmen coming in. What's the rap song with the Annie sample?
Yeah, that's what sold that album.
Yeah, that song.
That song sold that album. That was the whole MTV push.
Now I know, like the hip hop heads wasn't
that one song, Hard Knock Life.
Yeah.
So
you can buy that.
Yes. That single pushed that album. It's something that everybody from that era knows. I'm sure everybody up here has at least seen Annie one time in their life.
And the video.
And the video. It was on MTV was crazy, all day. It pushed that album.
Here's the thing. I disagree. This is one of those things we gotta do some numbers on, because I want to see the album sales prior to all those Swiss bangers like Money Cash Hoes and all of that. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Anytime somebody talks about that album, they talk about Swiss.
Yeah.
When Herb was talking about how Jay wasn't even fucking with us like that, and then he saw what X was doing with Swiss, then he came and got Swiss. So this is the first time I've ever heard anybody say Hard Knock Life was what sold that out. Everybody tells me
that was the first. That was the first song.
It was the first song. But for instance,
numbers.
Fuji Lie isn't what made the score sell 10 million records. It was Killing Me Softly.
Killing Me Softly.
So even though that was the first single, it doesn't mean that's. I mean, albums.
You telling me Money Cash Hoes sold that album? Come on.
That was the street. That was the street joint. That joint was for the streets. Money Cash Hoes was for the streets.
Y'all really want to know, in my opinion, what sold that album? It had nothing to do with the music. It had something to do with Biggie dying. And there's a spot available now.
Well, maybe in New York. I'll give you that. In New York.
Right. So for the 5 million people who had their money, it's like being at a strip club and your favorite stripper dropped dead on the pole. You got all this money. You need a stripper. So whoever that next stripper is who's coming out is getting this money because, nigga, we came here to see somebody strip. So somebody getting this money. So all those.
Here's the thing too. Hard Knock Life was not the first single. Can I Get It was the first single. The joint with Ja Rule. His analogies off the record.
That was off the Rush Hour soundtrack.
Yeah, that was off the soundtrack.
Yes, but it was the lead single.
All I can do is speak for them up north. I just believe Biggie's following needed somebody. Jay was the next person up. I believe it.
I'll give you that.
Jay drops his second album instead of the Hard Knock Life. That's why I said to me it has nothing to do with the music, really. If Jay Well, it does, because Jay did drop the second album. Big was dead, so I got to renege on that. So I don't know. It's just my.
In between that album, Streets is Watching soundtrack came out. I mean,
didn't care about Biggie, King of New York. These white folks didn't care about that.
Nope.
Right.
They heard that Hard Knock Life and they wanted it.
That's
and the Can I Get a What? Because think about it. You just said it. It was on the Rush Hour soundtrack, right?
Right.
That's a big franchise in 97, 98.
I mean, I guess I agree. I just think that, and it very well could have. I'm just not used to seeing a song as slow as Hard Knock Life push a artist from 500,000 to 5 million. I loved fucking Hard Knock Life. It's probably one of my favorite beats from that time period, but 500,000 to 5 million, that's like, yo, I can't sell no crack on my block, and then the next day I'm selling bricks like something. I digress.
No.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. From a club standpoint, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the album went triple platinum by December 16th.
And it was released in August.
September 29th.
September 20th? Okay.
So that's not even 3-4 months. So when did Money Cash Hoes come out?
November 9th.
November 9th.
That was the third single, but you gotta think from a DJ standpoint. I already had the Can I Get a What joint. That was released. Hard Knocks Life, I had that. And then the Money Cash Hoes joint came.
But Rap, from a DJ standpoint, you could not play Hard Knock Life.
I didn't. Yeah, you're right. I didn't play it.
So that's the part I'm so confused about.
Records are not sold in the club. Records are sold on the radio and TV.
Yeah, radio
videos.
Not for the street people, like the hood.
Yeah. But the records are not. The records ain't sold there.
I digress. I will just always stand firmly that if Big was still alive, I don't believe Jay sells 5 million records.
Because even Biggie,
I agree with you.
I mean, goddamn, white people love Annie that goddamn much.
Hey, they did. Look, 5 million of them did.
Though, if Biggie doesn't die, does Life After Death do what it did?
I think it does.
I think it does.
I don't think it's 10 plat. Cause what was Ready to Die? Like 4.
Ready to Die was what? Maybe 2 or 3.
That's what I'm saying. So if Biggie was alive,
you talking about 2-3 million when he died?
What did Life After Death do? What was the final numbers 10, on that?
Diamond.
Like 10, but you gotta remember he was dead.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought Life After Death was 5. I didn't know it was 10.
No, it's 10. Yeah,
it's 10.
By it being a double album, that means it really did what? 5, and you just double it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
but he was already dead when the album dropped.
That's what I'm saying. That's what put more.
Well, yeah, you're right. I don't think it goes 10 million, but I think it sells at least what Ready to Die did and some. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
At that point, nobody from New York was really doing. Nobody in hip hop really at that point was doing 10 million. I mean, that was Diamond. I was just being in the source have to say you sold 1 million. So I don't think anybody at that time in hip hop. So I think as long as you're right, it doesn't go 10 million, but I think as long as even if Big was still alive, I think it still sells at least what Ready to Die sold and then some. Because I mean the singles, Hypnotized was the shit that was shutting down the streets, the club, and the radio. You know what I mean? Fucking You Tonight. More Money, More Problems. You know what I mean? I get it. Yeah, the sky's limit. So that's why to me, for Big, I get it, because it was always that. I always called it the triple threat. It shuts down the clubs, it shuts down the block, and it shuts down the radio. And that's to me where Hard Knock Life didn't have it. They did that. You couldn't play that in the club. No matter, you'd have to speed pitch that shit up to 140.
You can't even do that. But so when you say that, does it have to be one song to do all of those things?
No. I mean, I was just saying that, to answer Nick's question, no, Life After Death. Okay. But I think it's still a highly successful album.
For sure. Yes. For sure.
I still think that people are still sided. Because here's the great thing. We have multiple streams of money. Well, not multiple streams. What I'm trying to say is that you had money to buy more than one album. So when Big was alive, you could have brought the 5 million people that brought Ready to Die, could have brought Reasonable Doubt too, but they didn't. Why? I don't know. The 500,000. Even Jay's second album, they still couldn't push past that. You know what I mean? So,
but see, Jay didn't have Big Papa One More Chance remix. He didn't have no song like that. On Reasonable Doubt.
No, not at all. Nope. All he had was the.
And I don't want to belabor this. And Rack, you may know better because I didn't play the shit. Ain't was a big ass song.
Which one you said? Ain't no nigga.
No nigga with Fox.
Yeah, that was a white label that Cats was trying to. They would fight their mama to get their hands on that joint because you couldn't get it.
You know
that
what I mean?
That was a big song.
It's not Big Papa, but ain't no nigga.
It was a banger.
Everybody, chicks who didn't care nothing about hip hop, who ain't care nothing about no Jay-Z. Y'all don't care about nothing.
Yeah, Foxy was the star of that song. Yeah.
Correct.
Right. I mean, if you wanted it, you still had to buy Jay's album.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Neither
you could have had the Nutty Professor soundtrack.
Right. You had to wait on. That's why you couldn't get it because it was on the soundtrack. It was just a song on the soundtrack, and it took off. And they didn't expect it to do anything. It was just a song from a rapper that they had on their label, and it was like, oh shit.
All right.
Just took off.
All right. I don't even know where we left off. Porsche, I think you were talking about Jay. So I think we on the Rack. What you got next? A legend or a pioneer? Or, just talk about somebody right now.
All right. So a legend. I'm gonna go Slick Rick, man. I'm gonna go Slick Rick. I can give him both. I can give him pioneer status and legendary status. Mainly because of his storytelling prowess, the way he's able to tell these stories that are humorous as hell, but he's a dope lyricist. He can rap his ass off. And he wasn't just telling stories of sexual nature. He was telling joints for the kids. I mean, what's the joint? Young World, Teenage Love. I mean, he had joints for everybody. That's the first album I listened to front to back, that my father played for me, driving from Georgia to Brooklyn. So that album, to me, stands the test of time. And I think the only reason I can give him legendary status is just where he sits with rappers now. It's not longevity. It's just you see every rapper of that stature going to Slick Rick for something, whether it's, hey man, I need help with these Dookie Road chains, or I want to put you on this verse, or they're praising him. So that leads me to believe that there's something there that the guys that are in the culture and of it still want from him. So I can give him both.
All right. It's funny you said that because, like I said, I'm reading this Rick Rubin book, and I totally forgot for a minute that Rick was on Def Jam.
For a little bit, yeah.
Def Jam, I'm always just like LL, and then it skips straight to Public Enemy. Slick Rick right there, and I want to say they found him in London. If I'm not mistaken.
He's from London.
Right. But I mean, I think they actually found him in London.
Okay.
If I'm not. And then Rick was like, I think Russell was like, yo, we should sign this British dude or whatever like that. That's how it popped off. But
what's the name of that book you're reading?
That's a good question. I think it's in the studio. But to be honest with you, it's not that dope of a book because it's a dope book, but it's one of those books where it's like whoever did it just got all these magazine articles together. Like I don't even.
Okay, so it's like okay, I see what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is, I'm still learning a lot. Don't get it twisted.
Okay, all right.
It's always like, and as Rick told Rolling Stone magazine, then 5 paragraphs, and like Rick told MTV News. So it's like, bruh, did you even talk to Rick? But it's informative because, like I said, if y'all haven't watched it, please watch it. Shangri-La's on Showtime. Rick Rubin. I mean, just a very dope show of how he produces and everything like that. I personally call what he does executive producing, but people call it producing, but very dope show. And it made me realize the reason I brought the book is because I'm great on Rick's mind from like 80 to like 89. Like once he left Def Jam, I have no idea what Rick did, Johnny Cash, none of that stuff until like back to Adele. So I brought the book kind of to like figure out, like fill in that gap. Okay. After he left Def Jam, I stopped paying attention to the boy personally.
He was mostly rock after that.
Yeah.
He left America, but kind of after you left, I was so hip hop at that time and point. If you wasn't doing hip hop, you was dead to me. So So I've missed 2 decades of his career. So that's why I brought the book. So the book is dope, but I do want to try to find a book that maybe Rick was a part of anyway whatsoever. Nick, who's somebody you got, good brother?
I'm gonna say Outkast. Outkast are, I wouldn't necessarily call them pioneers, but they are definitely well, I take that back.
I mean, they brought a lot to the table.
Yeah, man. They pretty much brought respect to Atlanta MCs as far as lyricists. You know what I mean? Because we were just known for club booty shake music.
Booty music.
Exactly. So they did do that for the South. They cemented that, especially for Atlanta in general. So I would definitely give them pioneer status for that. They gave us great music for like 8 years before Dre stopped making music, and I just think video, like image wise, definitely legends too. Outkast.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, and I know it's organized.
I say like the whole Dungeon family as a unit, kind of like Wu-Tang as a unit, are pioneers for the South.
Yes.
But then if you go individually, then it's just Outkast that are legends.
And I think Organized Noise too, because to me, they were the first to really mix live instrumentation with,
crazy.
Like to me, people say the Roots did it, but I really wasn't a big fan of Do You Want More like that. I mean, I like it, don't get it twisted, but when I listen to Players Ball, that reprise, the remix,
man, thank you, Kill.
Yes.
Like that's what makes it dope, because by being a liner no junkie, I can name their bass player, Preston Crump. Trust me, I was looking at the credits like, yo, who is playing these bass lines?
Who is killing this bass line?
They did a phenomenal job of being able to use the SP1200 and the MPC 3000 and bringing the live instruments, and it just fit perfectly. You know, even with the Roots, I'd just be like, it's too light in the ass for me. Them live drums, just that live jazz. That's
like a jazz lounge sound
somewhere. But I think the difference was I felt like Organized brought more funk and soul.
Correct.
Where the being a live band, they brought more jazziness. You know what I mean? So I think that down south funk and soul made it dope. Next person I would go with, you already know he was on this list, Jay Dilla. Legendary, he's everything. I don't give a fuck with y'all. Legend, pioneer, veteran, best man at somebody's wedding, whatever y'all want to know. Mechanic, a strip club,
he was that. He was that.
Yeah. So I mean, just for me with Dilla, and I can't ever remember this person's name, but it was a show on VH1. And they were talking about soul music, and I forgot the bass player's name, but the bass player, they were saying how he started thumbing the bass, like plucking the bass, and before that you didn't, you just would like, but he was like hitting it, and he was saying how in his mother's church, I think he said the piano wasn't working, so he had to try to play the piano chords on the bass. And then when people heard that, Marcus Miller, all these bass players, legendary bass players, was like, yo, what the fuck is that? And they like went home and tried to emulate that. When I heard that story, I was like, that's Dilla for me as a producer. Like, I heard Wordplay, my man Montez's fucking rodeo Jeep sitting outside my house, and my brain, when I heard those drums, I was just like, yo, what? They're off, but they're on. It sounds crazy. Like, I literally went right in the house, got on the ASR 10 and tried to start, like, how the fuck did he do that? And, I just feel like Dilla is one of the few producers who always just would fuck my head up. Just for a long time, it was Dilla, Timbaland, and Primo. Like, those three owned me going like, how? Like, I have no idea what y'all did. How did y'all create this? I mean, the fact that he's made bangers for so many people, that so many people don't even know he produced stuff for them. Like when we did a Dilla show a while ago, so many people were getting at me like, yo, I had no idea he did that. I had no idea. Like, I thought Q-Tip did that. So to this day, people are still like unearthing that stuff that Dilla did.
Yeah.
The fact that everybody bit, that was the other thing to me. Like, everybody, you could turn on a gospel song and you heard that neo soul sound. You know what I mean? I mean, I always say it, Jazzy Jeff,
I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
a touch of jazz, they need to be paying for Dilla's kids to go to college, grad school, wedding, bar mitzvahs, funerals, whatever the fuck goes on in the Yancey household. They need to put a funnel to that.
You're absolutely right.
At the radio station, they sent the Jill Scott sample. I was like, yo, this is so dope that Dilla's getting this R&B money. Then when I got the album, now I'm looking through the code. I'm like, and people like basically break Dilla's whole
Hidden Beach was everywhere on that joint.
And the thing that I loved about Dylan, to me, this is another reason why he's legendary. To me, he's the only producer who had a style and said, "Fuck it, y'all can have it, keep it," and then he became Dylan. Because there's a big difference between JD and Jay Dilla. JD, my knock on JD was always, he always producing for them Howard University people, the motherfucking Peace people, Common and Erica and Instant people like that. Like, he ain't doing nothing for MOP, he ain't doing nothing for Ghostface, he ain't doing nothing for the streets. Exactly. The finger snapping, I never liked death poetry. I'm not into that.
Peace, brother. Right. Peace, sister.
But then when you heard Dylan, you hear 10 Bricks for Ray, when you hear the first single off Only Built, I forgot the House of Flying Daggers. Like, I was like, now this is what I'm talking about. And to me, no other producer has been able to do that. Most producers find their niche and they get stuck there. You know what I mean? Or they find something totally new. Like Timbaland did something on Chance's album, and they don't sound nothing like Timbaland. Like everything Timbaland's been doing for like the past 3 or 4 years just sounds like everything else. Like there's not like anything that. But I felt like Dilla was able to have a style. Y'all bit that, fine, fuck it. I'm gonna come over here and do this, and people biting that. And then 3, I always say jazz musicians are the most bougiest musicians in the world, and jazz musicians show Dilla so much love. I mean, I've been to a couple of jazz shows, and I swear to God, every last one of them has had a Dilla tribute in there somewhere, somehow, some way. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Which is incredible. So Dilla, legend, pioneer, fucking bus driver, whatever else you want to call him, he's done everything. Porsche, who you got up next?
I mean, this one's an obvious one. DJ Kool Herc, and he like literally created, the genre, father of the genre. And he pioneered the whole everything. I can't even. There's nothing really to say. If you know the history of hip hop, DJ Kool Herc is like weaved in there. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I gotta get something quick about that, but that's a dope point. Correct. What about you?
I'm gonna go left a little bit, man. I'm gonna go Hype Williams, man. I'm gonna go Hype Williams from a director standpoint.
Yes.
The way he was able to capture the 90s at that time, as far as the videos and things of that nature, man. I think people are still trying to do that to this day with the way these kids are trying to shoot their own videos and do movies and things like that. But it wasn't the first hip hop movie, but I think that when you put hip hop movies, if you're gonna rate them 1 to 5 or whatever the fuck you're gonna do with them, Belly has to be in that top 5 because of how it was shot and what he was able to do with that. So I'm going Hype Williams, man. I think he did a lot for the culture from a visual standpoint that does not get recognized at all.
Agreed.
All right, no doubt. That's definitely dope. I had to go grab one of these shirts. Me and Ev did a line of shirts a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get one. 2XL, baby.
But it was the Vinyl Junkie joint.
Yeah.
You know? But what we had on the back, if Cash could see, there was the little stamp. And that August 11, 1973, that was the date that we found was the first party that Kool Herc threw. So
Cedar
like
and Sedgwick.
That was going to be a stamp on every shirt.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's the real date, but fuck it. That's what we went with.
They had a line a few years ago, man. Cedar and Sedgwick. Dope line. I wish more people would have got behind it to support it. We need those things, man. We need those things.
Here's the bad part with that. I brought a jacket, but the problem was now I done lost 30 pounds. I gotta buy new clothes.
You bought a 4X? What,
It
a
look like
4X?
the 90s again.
Nobody told me to lose weight. You guys spend a whole rack money.
Whole new wardrobe.
Yeah, I'm walking around looking like fucking like we in 1992, like with triple XL stuff on. All right, Nick, who you got up next?
I'm gonna roll with the Beastie Boys. It's like the first white dudes to have success in hip hop. So they're definitely pioneers, legends, because they continue to push the genre. I think sound wise, rap wise, they kind of stayed the same. They didn't, they ain't gonna blow your mind lyrically, but the sound, the production after they left from under Rick Rubin's tutelage, they just went into a kind of like a rock rap mash. Like if you want good rock rap, the Beastie Boys
all day.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yep.
R.I.P.
That's a dope one.
Yeah,
my fellow Leo.
That's my dude.
Yeah,
very dope book. I'm not even. Y'all can see I'm still at the same spot.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through. That's a big,
very dope book, man. And it brings back so many memories. That's why I get stuck on it a lot. The next person I got up is the God MC Rakim. To me, legendary, pioneer, everything, just because of what he brought to the game. When my melody came out, you talking about a slow tempo, you talking about, that's like time tempo right there. You know what I mean? But the craziest thing was when I first heard that on the radio, it don't matter how slow that was. It was like, yo, what is this? And then Rod started spitting. It ain't no 16 bars. It ain't no it just song kept going. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they said Shan was in the studio like laughing at him like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, yo, he low and who's gonna listen to this? Like, and everything like that. So to me, Rod changed the way that people rhyme. I know everybody gives that to Rakim. I think we sometimes forget KRS brought that to the table too. I always like to give it to both of them through Criminal Minded and Paid in Full. Yes. A lot of times it just goes to Rod. Like, like there was other mofos that was spitting. Like people act like it went from Curtis Blow to Rakim. And I'm like,
no.
There's some people in between there. Like salute to Rod, but we gotta give KRS some love too. Paid in Full, certified classic. To me, it was Illmatic before Illmatic. Of course, when you asked that dope question, like what would be Illmatic if Illmatic wasn't here, and you like stumped us all for weeks until somebody said Paid in Full, and it was like, yep, that's it, Paid in Full. So, just everything he brought to the game. And just the way that people, like Rex said about Slick Rick, the same way, like, that he's idolized. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't say Rakim has dropped a dope song in probably over 20 years, too. You know what I mean? Right. But, if there's a Rakim show, it's going to be sold out. People are still going to come. They still want to hear the hits. If it's ever one of them shows that's like, yo, Rakim is performing Paid in Full, it's going to be packed. So, Rakim. Yeah. Of course, you got anybody left?
Nope. I think we touched on all of them.
All right. What about you? One left. What you got, Nick?
Let Rhett go if you got one.
I got one. I got one. I don't think this dude gets no love, man. My Queen's brethren, LL, man.
For sure.
He gave the. I think he gave the blueprint.
He's next on my list. He's next up.
I think he gave the blueprint for what an all-around successful rapper should be. You got to be able to have the ladies love you. No pun on his name, but you got to. Women buy albums.
Exactly.
Women buy albums. Yes. They'll buy one for their girl and be like, "Girl, you got to hear this."
Yeah.
Like he has that on lock to this day. The man's what, 50? So he's got that. Lyrically, for a time, he was not to be played with. He was able to make club bangers as well as radio joints, and then he figured out how to transcend what he was doing into TV. So he is a pioneer and a legend to me because of the things that he's been able to achieve in his career, all around, from music to acting to anything else that he's doing. So I think LL should be on this list, man.
Now, was he the first solo rapper with a platinum album? Y'all know better than me.
He was. He was.
Okay.
Yeah, because from radio on and he played a huge part again, the Rick Rubin book. He played a huge part in Def Jam getting CBS still for distribution. Because when they signed, when they signed L, they were still indie, running out of Rick Rubin's NYU dorm room. You know what I mean? But the numbers that, you know, from I Need a Beat and Radio and Rock the Bells and all those things, you know, really got them that deal with CBS and got them all the big time money and everything like that. The thing that always struck L about me is that, to me, you know, him getting signed at 16 was like unheard of at that time. You know what I mean? And for me, if he got signed at 16, then I was probably 12 because I think he's 50. So yeah, I'm like 4 or 5 years younger than L. But to me, even with Radio, what he rhymed about was what I was going through. Like, I can't live without my radio. Like, I'm in 5th grade. I'm getting on punishment for bad grades and fucking up the school. My mom is taking my radio away. You know, she's taking away me using my turntable. So for me, it was always that. You know, bad was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking to me at that time, that was what for a lot of younger people may say Illmatic and It Was Written was for them. Like, at that age, for me, that's what Radio and Bigger and Deffer was for me. Like, this was like 2 back-to-back incredible albums. You know what I mean? Like, that were undeniable. You know what I mean? That nigga standing on the Audi. Like, you know, that like album cover was, you know, amazing. I always tell a story. I was gonna, you know, catch a beat down for that album because the neighborhood Debo, my man Wayne, lived next door to me. I came home from the record store with the album all happy. He was like, yo, let me hold that, nigga. And I'm like, I really need this back, Wayne. Like, all bullshit aside, man. Like,
man.
Like, we're fucking neighbors. Like we live next door to each other. We're not like neighbors down the block. Like, his house is next to my house. And he was like, I'm gonna give it back tomorrow, you little nigga. Just shut up. And I'm like, all right, here. I'm like, oh, I don't think I slept the whole night because I was just go buy another one. Like, I was like, it's no worth the time. Let me just go buy another album. But then a little part of me was like, all right, little nigga, you gotta have some part. Yeah, you can't just let Devo. So I literally knocked on that nigga door at like 7 in the morning the next day on a Saturday, you know, and he came downstairs and I'm shocked he didn't beat my ass for knocking on his door at 7:45 in the morning on Saturday, but he gave it back.
Man. When you said that, all I could think of was Ricky and the football.
Right, I know, yeah, right, yeah.
Yo, it's like, I literally was sitting here like, oh God, like,
you gonna get my record back.
But all that to say, I love Big on Duffer. I mean, the greatest thing about LL, people always talk about it, but to me, L was about that life. He never lost a battle. You know, if you came at him, he came at you right back.
Right back.
Jack the Ripper to me is one of the greatest diss songs of all time. That beat was incredible.
Yeah.
You know, took out Cannabis at a time when nobody in the world, when Cannabis was like the epitome of MCing. Yeah. You know,
he was yeah.
And even with Mr. Smith, you know, and the thing is, I don't blame L because I always say hip hop went through so many phases. So that Mr. Smith album with all the loops and rapping over I Like It and rapping over the SOS band, that was part of the game. But when it was that I Shot You time, like he still
come
in with that lad, like, yo, like you on the final lap, like you the one who got to bring us home, and to be able to bring you home with Keith Murray, Prodigy,
shoot, Illbum was dope too.
And for you to be able to be like, all right, now give me the baton and let me bring it on home, like, you know, so LL is definitely. A lot of people always be like, OG, like, what's up with this L? How he make your top 10 list? I'm like, my nigga, how don't he make yours? But I get it, you know, the youth. But L is definitely a legend. Nick, you said you had one more?
Yeah, I got one that's gonna make a lot of the old niggas mad. So, you know what I mean? You know the clothes. I know my big bros on the show with that. But I'm gonna say Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? He been putting out music for a decade now. 5 albums, 2 classics. Not a pioneer, but definitely a legend in my opinion.
Yep.
I can agree with you on that. I remember the night that I heard the album, I was finishing up a club date, and at the end of the night, it was Good Kid, Mad City.
Mad City, yeah.
I had heard the other joints, but didn't really stomach it until my boy was like, "Yo, you need this now." So I'm listening to it as I'm going through stuff in my phone, and I hear the Pour Up Drink joint. I was like, yo, I'm playing this shit right now. I didn't care what the fuck they was dancing to. I played that shit. I stopped whatever the fuck I was playing, and I played that shit right now. And I cleared the dance floor. I didn't give a fuck. But they needed to me. They needed to hear that shit. Yeah. And about a month later, everybody wanted to hear that shit.
Yeah, I agree, Nick. Definitely. To me, he's probably even cracked my top 10 by now.
Yeah.
He's probably number 10.
Yeah.
God forbid I talk about lists. I'm sorry, forget it.
No, it's all good.
I don't even want to bring up.
I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think at the end of the day,
dope is dope.
And I read an article about Kendrick, just about is he the Trojan horse of hip hop? Meaning like he's giving you all these gems. So he's like giving you knowledge, but giving it to you in a way that's not preachy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you may not know that swimming pools is about drinking and you know what I mean? Like that, or what a dollar, what was the name of that joint?
How much a dollar costs?
Yeah.
Like that he's giving you all these jewels, but doing it in a way so that you don't even really realize you're being educated. So I definitely wholeheartedly agree. I
genius.
And that's why his music will be timeless.
Yeah.
Like we don't know that now. Some people don't know that now, but it will be for that reason.
I think he'd be one of the few artists right now that will have music that stands the test of time.
Yeah,
right.
Like Tupac. I have to mention Tupac in this episode too. Like I can't.
Mention Tupac is definitely
a legend. He's not a pioneer. Really, maybe.
Legend. All right, so I gotta
definitely a legend.
I gotta ask. What makes him legendary? I have to ask.
Legend to me.
Honestly,
dope album.
Yeah, Nick, go ahead.
How many? Okay, so what dope album are we talking about?
To me,
well, I mean, keep in mind, dope is that could be just a good album. So I mean, Pac, I'm sure has some dope albums.
But yeah, he got dope albums. He got classic albums. He got classic albums too, though. But like I said, like because All Eyes on Me, I would consider that a classic, even though I
agree.
Love it. The same with Life After Death. That's a classic album, even though I don't love it personally.
Okay.
So Machiavelli, Me Against the World. I think Pop. Yeah.
Okay. I just hear it.
What makes him legendary to me is he was a poet and then an MC, and he kind of meshed both of them together very well, very, very well. And his content is what makes him sort of puts him above, in my opinion. And when I say, and I know Kill says don't throw around the word genius, but Tupac is genius to me. And people make fun of me for saying that, but he is. And it's literally because of the subject matter that he tackles and the way he goes about addressing it. And that's like a lot of songs in his catalog. A lot of them. Yeah. A ton of them.
I just hear it often and I'm like, man. But I don't disagree. Yeah. I don't disagree, but I don't know if I could give him a pioneer status.
No, I wouldn't give. I don't give Tupac a pioneer status.
Legend. I don't know if I can give him that. I don't know if I can give him that.
I mean, that's hard, right? You just being hard.
That's hard.
I'm not being hard, man. Okay.
Especially off of you all's definition of legend, you gotta say Pac. I mean,
this definitely a legend.
I mean, he's everywhere. I know the death people are still saying Pac's alive. People still showing up with Pac pictures. Like,
yes. From that standpoint,
I mean, he's got a book of his poetry.
But I mean, I think that's the thing, right? You said from that standpoint.
I did. Let me shut up. You're right. You're right.
That's it.
You're right.
That's it.
You're right.
You know.
Sorry, Tupac is a sensitive subject for me.
You're right.
Yeah. Like if you go to other countries, who the pictures you're gonna see like Bob Marley, Malcolm X, and motherfucking Tupac.
Yes.
I just don't know why. Oh, but all right.
Here's the wild part, right? And y'all know I'm not the biggest Pac fan, but I can understand why. At the end of the day, I wasn't the biggest Pac fan because I'm so loyal that when Biggie and him was going at it, I was riding with him so much. I don't care what Pac put out. It was like, yo, you the enemy. Biggie don't you coming to New York kicking out buildings. It was like up there, bro. Like that's how I was for real. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if I go back to Brenda Got a Baby and when my homies call, that's when I was a Pac.
Yeah. And that's when I was. That's when I was.
I can't be mad at Dear Mama. Like, this dude got a song about his mother and it's a dope hip hop song.
Yeah.
So I can't, even though I'm not the biggest fan, and then we're not even just talking about, I'm always a fan of Pac. I'm more of a fan of Pac the man than I am of Pac the music. You know what I mean? As far as when him shooting them cops in Atlanta,
yes,
Pac being about being Pac and so I may not, but I get it. I get it. Again, everything in life ain't about it. I can get it.
When you explain it that way, there's some things that I'm probably not thinking about. So you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And I mean, like, come on, like, I love Big L, but nobody's talking about, here go Big L living in Mexico. Like, Big L is dead. Like, Pac is still being, like, you still seeing people talking about, is this Tupac at the DMV? Like, there is still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Porsche. I had a moment. I'm sorry.
No, all good. All good.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
Like, it'll be off. Give it another 5 years, and there may be some Pac impersonators in Vegas, like Elvis. Like, serious. You know what I mean? So, like,
and I think there is something to be said about Tupac and Biggie having this much of a fan base, loyal fan base, and people that are just getting into hip hop and learning about them so many years after their passing. I think there's definitely something to be said about that. So that's not to be taken lightly, for real.
Yeah, no.
Yo, here's the wild part, y'all. My phone just keep my Twitter stuff is going off. Tip just retweeted the app we did about saluting him.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
That's Salute awesome. To the abstract.
I'm looking at my follower count like, yo, how the fuck I get like 90 followers in the past hour? Like, but that joint, so that's definitely dope. For me, I'll run through these real quick. Pete Rock, legend to me.
Yes.
For people who don't know, he's the one who really started filtering samples. And what filtering samples is when you can take, if you listen to Bucktown, find an instrumental on YouTube, and you'll hear the bass line is basically just the horns filtered out. And Pete was one, if not the first, to do that. He was at Eddie F's house messing around with the S950 and did it by mistake. And that's another thing about legends and geniuses to me. I was talking to my man, he was like, well, if he did it by mistake, that don't count. Nigga, I don't know if the person who invented fucking the traffic light did it by mistake.
Oh, shit.
He did it. There was no traffic light.
Right.
There's a traffic light now. Like, genius. So whether you did it by mistake, I mean, Pete with the most
scratching was invented by mistake. So shit.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is trial and error.
So the multi-pitch on the SP12 with the echoing horns, like that was Pete. I don't know who wasn't using echoing horns in '94. Like everybody was. So definitely Pete. No way I could say Pete without saying Premier and everything he brought to the game. I mean, I'm just skating through these. I just picked the first 5 people who came to mind, and that was the people I named. But Premier, I mean, one of the few people who went. Because Tribe gets all the love for it, but Primo was sampling jazz 3 years before Tribe. You know what I mean? Primo was one of the few people who didn't get caught in the jazz loop of Diggable. All the, he was able to break out. Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Do you call them what?
The boho niggas.
That nigga transferred the power with the
shoe stick, the shoe stick with the niggas that be down in 5 points in Atlanta.
Kill, no, they be down Market Street selling the shoe sticks. Remember that?
But like I said, Primo transferred from Howard to Norfolk State. Like, so like that dude with Hard to Earn. To me, Nas is a legend. And Ice Cube. Ice Cube is definitely certified legend,
Ice
veteran.
Cube for real.
Whatever you want to call it. And I'm not even touching, none of these had anything to do with business. If we even start talking about the
movies, and exactly.
That's
a whole nother thing.
This is just from hip hop alone. That's what it is. All right, y'all. I'm still fucking confused as what a legend is. But I appreciate it. That's why I like having y'all around me, because now I gotta go back.
I think it's just important that people come up with a definition for these words that they throw around. And I'm not saying everybody throws them around, but even classic, like you need to come up with a criteria and a definition and stick with that and be consistent with that. Not everybody's a pioneer, not everybody's a legend, and not and not every album's going to be a classic. And I think hopefully this sort of differentiates the two, because Big is my favorite and I love Big the most out of every single rapper ever. But I have to think, like, he's not a pioneer and he's not a veteran. So, you know, it is. I just hope that that's what sort of
and you know what,
people get from that.
I'm gonna take your advice, because what happened was I liked what y'all was saying so much. Y'all were like, I was changing my definition to fit with y'all.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
That.
Right.
And that's what it was. Like you said, find what you believe in, you stand on that, and that's what it is. That's what we need to be doing more, because you're right. We got to stop with this. I already seen people already talking about, oh, this Port of Miami 2 already a classic. Like, bro,
it's not even
it's not 20 classic albums per year, bro.
Like, people are calling DJ Khaled a pioneer, and I'm like, of what? Of what? What did he pioneer right now? Like, a baby? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I love Assad. I think they're the cutest kid ever. But like...
Again, it's a lot of times it's the youth. So what happens with youth and people whose frontal lobes aren't fully formed, and even for those whose are fully formed, you kind of jump on just the word. You know what I mean? So you really don't know. Like you said, that's why I always say that this is a thinking man, woman's podcast. You have to think. Like when y'all come up with ideas or I give you the ideas, it's homework time. You know, this isn't a podcast that you just jump on and just come off the top or whatever like that. Right. I think a lot of times people don't sit there and really think about, when I ask people, what are your attributes of an MC? It's crickets, you know, because most people don't
think like that.
About
no.
What is it? I'm just used to arguing all the time. So you don't even know what you believe. And then when you come up with the attributes, some of the people you've been arguing for may not even line up to your attributes. So that's the problem, that people, just like you said, then when people see it, I got it on my blog. These are the 6 things that make an album a classic to me. So when people are like, yo, what's a hit? I'll just send you the link. There you go. That's it. So you're right. People need to have what makes an album a classic to you, what makes somebody a legend, to have those things, and then that's how we can have doper conversations.
And then hopefully we never have a Makami and Rakim comparison ever again. And all will be well.
As the resident Makami fan, I was like, what in the fuck?
These kids lost their mind.
I will continue to get roasted by anybody about Makami, but you cannot compare him
to Rakim,
to the God.
Exactly.
But here's the wild part, and I always tell people, you shouldn't get roasted for liking the boy, because my thing is that the great thing about hip hop is it's bigger than us.
Correct.
But what we do as fans, or what we do as individuals, is we want somebody to like what we like. Brett, if you like Hami, that is beautiful. You know why? Because that keeps the culture moving forward. That's another artist that keeps hip hop moving forward, you know, instead of being stagnant or falling off.
But that's the key.
It doesn't matter if I don't like him. It's dope. I'm excited that other people like him. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, Rick. I'm a Hami fan too.
But that's the key. Kill just said it. We are all 4 of us are of the culture. One way, shape, or form. This culture brought all 4 of us together. Whether it was me DJing, Kill doing everything, Porsche having a love for hip hop, Nick being a fan that will give it to you raw. The culture is what brought us all together. That's what's getting lost. Motherfuckers is just listening to the music and giving, like you just said, uneducated and biased opinion. And there's no education or fact behind it, because when you ask them, they don't know.
And it goes back to, for it being bigger than you. And I said this the other day on Twitter. I was in church Sunday. The sermon was boring as hell to me personally, but you know what? Naomi was taking notes. He had a whole page of notes.
You tell somebody,
Other people people got saved. People joined the church. It ain't about me. Like, they at church. Like, people got saved. People came, joined church. Naomi got a whole notes, list of notes. Cool. Like, so if you get caught up in it just being about you, it would have been like, oh, church was whack today. How am I say church is whack and my daughter got a whole page of notes?
Right.
No, it was whack to me, but it's bigger than me. It's God's word. that should be what's the most important. Do I think Matt Comey is dope? No, but who cares about me? If other people like him, that's dope because the culture is moving forward. But we've got to step aside from outside of ourselves and look at the culture. It's like I always would tell people when you get married, it's you, it's your wife, and then there's the marriage. And sometimes you have to make decisions for the marriage. It's not just about what you want or what she wants, but what's best for the marriage. So you gotta look at it like it's you, and then there's the culture. And if this is good for the culture, then who cares about what I think? You know what I mean? If people think the Lost Tapes is 10 mics, thumbs the fuck up. Great, buy the album at least if you think it's 10 mics. Buy the album, keep the culture moving. But that's why I'm always so confused when people get caught up with like, how don't you like? Who cares what I like? Like, I don't care what somebody got at me today and was like, oh, the androids, we won the cell phone war. And I'm like, nigga, what did you win? You me every month. Like
the cell phones deployed to Afghanistan?
You got the Note 10, I got the iPhone. Like, what do you mean that y'all won? Android won? Like, what did you win? Like, did you not pay for that phone? Was it free? Do you get 6 months? You ain't got to pay your bill? Like, no, my dude. Like, why are y'all arguing over who? I don't give a fuck what you use to call your girlfriend or your man. Why am I getting in an argument with you because you have a Samsung and I have an iPhone? Who cares? Like, when you really look at that, like, who cares? I don't care what you text on. And it's so funny because it's traveled down to our children. I don't know what's worse. It's traveling down to our children or you're traveling up to grown folk. Because at least the children don't got the frontal lobe. The grown folk do. But like literally one of my kids was like, said something like, oh, I don't mess with nobody who got green bubbles. And I was like, what do you mean green bubbles? And they're like, when you text, you can tell an Android phone because it's in versus the iPhone. But this is and they were like, I don't mess with no nigga with green. And I'm like, yo, you really won't mess with a dude because you got an Android? She was like, yeah, what is wrong with you? If it ain't blue bubbles, I ain't fucking with you. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So, yes.
If we could put more energy into saving the world and doing some other shit, we'd be all right.
Right.
So, DJ Rec, give them all the information, good brother.
Twitter at DJ Rec1. Instagram is DJ Rec1. Had to snatch with the website, so I'll get back to that shortly, man.
All right, Porsche, give him everything, miss.
At Shershayla Porsche on Twitter.
All right, Nick, what's good with you, good brother?
Big Bro will have it linked up on Twitter and IG.
All right, and y'all already know it is with me. Kill 889, Twitter, IG, all that good stuff. Get the Mousse album, Adolescent Tape. That's dope. Yao is dropping his album, I think this month. In the next week or two, I got a beat on it. Rec has some beats on it. That's gonna be dope. Vegas's album, Keep Calm, We Brought Friends, is dropping next Friday that I produced. And me and Rec are working on Sight's album right now, and Cash out in LA's album right now. So it's gonna be a lot of good dope music on tap. I will see y'all next week, y'all.
See ya.